not Mrs. Dot. I'm Mrs. Ott. But I'm pretending I'm Mrs. Dot because we are celebrating International Dot Day. It just happened to be yesterday, but I wanted to read a really special book to you. That's one of my favorites in the art studio. It's called, believe it or not, The Dot, and it's by Peter Reynolds, right there. So in honor of International Dot Day, I would love to read this to you. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. In big letters, The Dot. It's a fun book. Art class was over, but Vashti sat glued to her chair. Her paper was empty. There she is. Her paper's empty, and she looks a little sad. Let's find out what happens. Well, Vashti's teacher leaned over the blank paper. Ah, a polar bear in a snowstorm, she said. Very funny, said Vashti. I just can't draw. Ooh, that's something we don't like to hear. And here's her teacher looking. Can you see that? She's looking at Vashti's paper, and that blank piece of paper looked just like a polar bear in a snowstorm. Her teacher smiled, and she said, just make a mark and see where it takes you. So Vashti grabbed a marker and gave the paper a good, strong jab. Like, there. There's her teacher saying, just make a mark and see where it takes you. And Vashti, she's got a lot of energy there. She made a mark on her paper. Her teacher picked up the paper and studied it very carefully. And then she pushed the paper back towards Vashti and quietly said, now sign it. Ooh. We all know that it's very important for an artist to sign their work. And did you see that dot right there? That's the dot that Vashti put on there. Vashti thought for a moment. Well, maybe I can't draw, but I sure can sign my name, she said. There she is signing her name. For the next week, when Vashti walked back into art class, she was surprised to see what was hanging above her teacher's desk. It was the little dot that she had drawn, her dot, and it was all framed in swirly gold. Wow, look at that. It's beautiful. It's obvious that her art teacher loved her work enough to hang it up in her classroom right above her desk so she'd see it all the time and put a very fancy frame around it. That tells you a lot. Art teacher loved her work. Well, I can make a dot better than that, she said. And then she opened her never-before-used set of watercolors and she started to work. Here she is. I can make a better dot than that, she said. And she got all her tools and she's getting ready to work. Vashti painted and painted. She painted a yellow dot, a green dot, a red dot, a blue dot. Whew. And the blue mixed with the red, and she discovered that she could make purple. Vashti kept experimenting, lots of little dots in many colors. Here she is painting. And here she is experimenting. So a lot of her dots are mixing together and making new colors. If I can make little dots, I can make big dots too, she said. So Vashti splashed her colors with a bigger brush on a bigger paper to make bigger dots. Ooh. Vashti even made a dot by not painting a dot. How do you do that? You want to see? So here she is painting all her dots. And then she made a huge dot. Do you see that? A big dot happened there. A big white dot happened just by painting around it. Ah, so without really even drawing a dot, she drew a dot. Kind of confusing, but it's really cool. At the school art show a few weeks later, Vashti's many dots made quite a splash. Gotta see this. Look at this art gallery of all Vashti's work. Very beautiful. Lots of dots, big and small. And there's the dot that wasn't a dot. This is a great book. Vashti noticed a little boy gazing up at her. He said, "You're really a great artist. I wish I could draw too," he said. "I bet you can," said Vashti. "Me? No, not me. I can't draw a straight line even with a ruler." Here they are having a conversation. Vashti smiled at him and she said, "Show me," as she handed him a blank sheet of paper. The boy's pencil shook as he drew his line. He's drawing. Vashti stared at the boy's squiggle, and then she said, here she is examining his squiggle. Can you see it? It's a squiggle on a piece of paper. She said, "Please sign it," just like her art teacher did. And here's the little boy getting ready to sign his artwork. And do you know what it means? When she asked him to sign that, that meant that she thought it was so great that he's an artist and that all artists need to sign their work. And this was a great story of confidence, I think. Even though sometimes we think we can't do something, especially in art, you can, and you can turn it into whatever you like. So I think this is a wonderful story about a little girl who didn't know that she could be a good artist, but she was. And then she taught a little boy the very same lesson that her teacher taught her. So this is an awesome book celebrating International Dot Day with, of course, the dot. So I hope you enjoyed the story, and I'd like to read it again sometime to you. Have a great day.